Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio. Are we rolling?
Yeah, we're speaking.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Questlove Show. I'm Questlove. I will say that in my opinion, our guest today doesn't just make records, he makes a mood. He makes a mood. He, in my opinion, is probably one of the last purveyors of what we call grown folk soul. I know titles are horrible, but I'll get to the...
Hey, that's how we categorize things.
There you go. But I will say that his work is forever, and
wow.
I promise you... Well, the thing is if one of your compositions... Like, when I say your work is forever, I statistically mean that, like, maybe in the last 20 years, 40% of any nuptials given, I promise you that our guest today, that his compositions live in that. Here's the other thing. Like, you know, because of the cold state of hip hop and the whole emotionalist armor that we have on us, I'll say that our guest also has a canon that is rich and deep for heartbreak songs when you need it. Whenever I'm asked to make Valentine's Day playlists, there's two lists I have to make. I have to make the regular love stuff, but my most popular playlist are the heartbreak playlist. Absolutely. Of which a lot of your compositions live in that. A singer-singer, a songwriter. I will say, of course, proud father, loving husband. And I believe I am catching our guest in what promises to hopefully be his greatest phase, which is my favorite of his, which is the zero fucks given phase of his life. So let's have it. Welcome to the show, Eric Benét.
My brethren.
Yes, sir.
First of all, that introduction coming from you, thank you for that. There were so many like nuggets way back then where it was like, okay, Amir is going to be the one to win an Oscar for filmmaking. Amir is going to be the one who is just going to be the owner of
the
knowledge.
Burden of music historian.
Burden of music historian. Like, I remember there is a very, very famous, now it's viral. Now everybody's seen it. But the first time I saw it, we were up in the studio. Like, we go back to Jazzy Fat Nasty's, Rich Nichols, all that, right? Mm-hmm. This was
2000.
Nigga, it was before.
Or 90.
Yeah. Maybe it was in 99.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I guess it was YouTube, but was YouTube big back then?
Not yet. YouTube was a 2006 thing.
I remember Amir going, no, y'all got to see this. Come here. Come see this.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I was YouTube. Yes. So before YouTube was a thing, my primary job, even when people ask me about like the voodoo period,
right?
My primary job was to walk around with two giant Kipling duffel bags.
Okay, this explains so fucking much right now, which I didn't know. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, I went to Japan. The first time the Roots went to Japan in '96.
Yeah.
Our translator
and Japanese people are just voracious for like any information.
Yes, which also means that American culture is very disposable.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. You could be on here and then like, oh, yesterday's news.
Yeah.
So the point is that, when I first went to Japan, my translator was like, you have an afro like Don Cornelius. And I was like, haha, what do you know? What do you know about Don Cornelius? They're like, we love Soul Train. Yeah. I was like, you know what Soul Train is? And she says, I have all the episodes at my house. And I never left that woman's house. Literally, we had the top like 4 seasons, best,
100%.
I'm sleeping in this woman's, like her version of the projects, her and her mother in a small matchbox. Yeah. And she had about 40 episodes of Soul Train.
Yeah.
And 2 VCRs.
100%.
So I recorded every episode and I came back to America like manna from heaven. And my job between 97, really 2003 was just to, anywhere I went, it was Amir, bring the tapes.
That explained, because I couldn't understand like it's probably difficult for this generation to understand because readily video information wasn't that so available.
Yeah.
So we're in the studio and you're bringing out tapes and shit, and I'm like, where's this nigga getting all this stuff?
Right.
And then the second thing is, like, you gotta see this. You gotta see this. And he's like, you gotta see the time that James Brown was performing, and he spots Michael in the audience.
Right.
Now this is the first time I and everybody in the room. Now you can see it's probably got a gazillion and 50 views now on YouTube, and you are not only were we watching the video, but you were curating the whole thing. And
when I tell you, all right, every storyteller has the little boy that cried wolf story.
Yeah.
That no one believes.
Yeah.
And the amount of times, and when you realize you have a kick me sign on your back.
Yes.
Like, and you see people looking at each other, and
Right.
you're like, okay, obviously I'm not. Something's happening here.
Yeah, something's going on I'm not in on.
And I promise you, between 96 and 98. So Prince first told me this story of, it was a point where it was like a new diplomatic happy Prince. Like, we're not used to this person. Why is he being so nice to us? And I asked him, like, it was me, D'Angelo, and him. We were at Tramps, if you remember Tramps, nightclub. We just did a jam session. And I said, he was speaking complete sentences, not the grasshopper, like, the martial arts, the way he would monotone.
He was being for the better part of a regular dude hanging out.
It was the most regular he was. And at the end of the night, I was like, I said, pardon me for asking, but why? I think I asked him, why are you so nice to us? Right? Which he could have felt some way about that. Like, as opposed to, I said, man, thanks for taking the time out to really talk to us.
Yeah.
And it was a real human conversation.
Yeah. It wasn't
not him trying to, preach about Jehovah or whatever, like his Prince one-on-one thing.
Right.
And I said, what brought this turnaround that you're like so open?
First of all, kudos to you for just like asking that question.
Well, I was shocked because I didn't know that he knew complete sentences or jokes. I didn't know what his teeth looked like.
Right.
Like, he laughed and everything. I was like, wow, Prince has weird teeth. Like, well, because he's never smiled before. You know what I mean? Like, you never seen Prince, like, you know.
No.
And so he tells his story. He's like, long ago.
Wait, set me up. Was this before you seen the video?
This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Wow. Okay. And what year was this?
This is 96.
Okay.
Right after Emancipation just came out.
Dig it. And you never seen it before.
Right.
Go ahead.
So he's at out in Long Island. What's the outdoor space? It's now the Tommy Hilfiger. Yeah, Jones Beach.
Okay.
He just showed Jones Beach. And of course he does his whole, we're coming to a club and, have a club with 12 people in it.
Right.
With a full club.
And do a whole
an entire concert.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, get your instruments. We're going to play. We play. And he tells a story of how, like, James Brown was his hero.
I can't wait to hear his version from his side of the story.
Right.
Because it's 8 different things going on in this
So
clip.
he says, James Brown was such a hero of mine. And Michael Jackson one night went out to humiliate and embarrass me in front of him. And
he feels like that was the intention from jump.
So here's the deal, though. If you read L.A. Reid's memoir, I believe the opening chapter starts with the moment that Michael Jackson flies him and Babyface to a Neverland Ranch to talk about production on what will eventually be Dangerous.
Okay.
And the first thing Michael does is, wait, you got to see this. Like, as a rite of passage, when you come to his crib,
you got to see the video.
He shows you the tape. I've at least talked to 5 people that says that's Michael's opening shtick. Like, yo, you got to see what happened to Prince one night. And he does the thing.
So it wasn't. It was.
Everyone's take is that, he's competitive.
Yeah.
He's let it be known. And so, but the way that Prince played it out was just like, he called me to the stage and da-da-da-da-da. And next thing you know, Michael's trying to humiliate me. And I just walked away so disheveled. And I was like, I'll never do that to, basically like when I meet my subjects, I won't do that to him. And I was like, wow, that's really notable.
That's really big of him.
So then 3 years later, when I'm in Japan, so once I got the Soul Train Jones on, then I was like, where can I find more of my history? And then they
were like, oh, you want more?
Yeah, so they took me to like this alleyway where literally it's just like Switch in concert, or Ray Parker Jr. on radio, or Graham Central Station opening for blah, blah, blah.
Because you were the guy, and like, how the fuck, where did you get this?
So they collect it. And so I came back to America with all these tapes, and when I seen the tape, I was like, oh, he left that part out of it, and he left that part out of it, and he left that part, the awkwardness of it all. And no one believed me for those 3 years when I told the story. They're like, yeah, right, Michael Jackson, Prince, and James Brown on stage together, whatever. And I promise you, the way I held it onto that tape and just showed everybody,
I felt like I was a temporary honorary member of the Roots when you showed that to me. Because as you were showing it, you were doing a brilliant commentary. Because here's the thing. Yeah, Prince said, yo, there was a time he humiliated me. But every mistake, Michael couldn't have told Prince to do the mistake. Like, we're having a conversation
Prince's
about
instincts.
something. If you haven't seen it.
Oh, they've seen it. We've talked about this many times on the show.
Okay.
They know. Yeah, I mean, just all of his instincts were wrong.
Every instinct that he did was just like, Michael didn't set you up for that. Like, you did that.
But I mean, I also believe that
Michael was playing 8D chess.
Well, yeah, it's like, if you're the new guy that's apparently on my level, then prove it.
All right, let me knock
prove
you
it
down.
right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Prove
all right.
it. Yeah.
So I want to ask you.
Yeah.
What is the first musical memory that you had in life?
Wow. Give it to Amir to ask a question I have never been asked before.
I'm going to ask you a lot you've never been asked before.
But as soon as you ask the question, an immediate, not only image, but visual came into my mind of a couple songs.
Okay.
I must have been four or 5 years old, and driving in the Buick estate wagon down to Mobile, Alabama to see my parents' family and all my cousins down south in Mobile, and hearing songs like, I am a lineman for the county.
Wichita Lineman?
Yes, Wichita Lineman.
What is it with black people and their love for Wichita Lineman?
I don't know, but I remember that song. I remember, by the time she gets to Phoenix, she'll be rising. Like all those songs like that. And then I remember being in Alabama in my uncle Orlando's house, and my Uncle Orlando had a dope like barber business in Atlanta. So his house was like 1971, like swanky, like late mid-century, like dope.
Okay.
In Alabama. And he was playing all Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick shit. And I just remember something about that kind of songwriting, I felt made like this imprint on me. It's like Valley of the Dolls theme, all of the Burt Bacharach,
the song
Message to Michael, all those arrangements. Yeah, that's probably one of my earliest.
My dad ran that Dionne Warwick 8-track in the ground as well. All those things.
Man.
So I was pleasantly surprised to find out that you were born in Mobile. How long did you live there?
I wasn't born in Mobile. My parents were born in Mobile, so we would go.
Oh, and visit.
I was born and raised in Milwaukee.
Okay.
And so we would go every summer. Like we would pile up in that Buick in a station wagon, child seats. What child seats?
Right.
I remember being 3 or 4 years old. Remember the death trap in the back of the Buick? There was like a little seat.
Yeah, the little
in the back where I could see.
That's
the
where
cars
I was sitting.
That's where I was sitting, and I'm thinking back on that. It's like, Y'all niggas was trying to kill me, right? Based on today's standards.
So Mobile. Okay, do you know if your family is at all connected to Africa Town, which is in Mobile?
My family would be very disappointed in me saying I don't know.
You wouldn't know?
Yeah.
Okay. Only recently found out my connection to Mobile.
What is that? And they'll be the first to tell you. Anybody in Mobile will be the first to tell you. Mardi Gras in Louisiana. We started Mardi Gras, right? And that's true. That's true.
So I happen to know that like at least 80% of the black population. So I did Skip Gates's Finding Your Roots show.
Wow,
where
he
finds your
incredible.
Yeah, the celebrity version of 23andMe.
Yeah.
And me and Wanda Sykes, I believe, are the only two black people on that show in which they were able to trace our ship, our route, where we came from, and the family name.
Whoa! And so, like where in West Africa? Like where?
All right. So the deal is that, from what I heard, Benin and Nigeria were in a civil war, and by the time Thomas, I forget the person who owns the ship. And this is the thing: this town is literally comprised of the person who owned the ship, his entire family, like to this day, runs like all the factories, like the lineage.
Africa Town in Mobile.
Yes,
was the family that owned the slave ship.
Right. Wow. Their offspring.
They
like
were rich as hell back then.
Five generations down, still there.
Wow.
But also I think now there's still maybe 20 plus captive families that are there. So like. Wow. Nothing's changed. So the story goes that they went to Nigeria, and usually you negotiate with the king's son, the prince, like what property do you have for me? Wow. Well, we have some prisoners from Benin.
Yeah.
Here they go. So technically, my great-great-great-grandfather was literally the last. When I mean, he was chosen because. Okay.
He could play them drums.
No. Stop. No. The story goes that because the ship was small and they were trying to get more bang for their buck, more money. They were like, just gather the kids. Gather anyone under the age of 13 small, like, let's try and pack them together. But of course, in the horror of it all, they're crying, and he's like, well, I can't control these kids.
Oh, my God.
Send 50 of the kids back and bring some women to watch these crying kids. But then the women start crying. He's like, well, give me the biggest guy you got. And my great was, I believe he was 6'4" or 6'5", and was literally chosen, like, watch them. And he was literally the last. But even then, like, he was literally the last captive. Like, slavery had been over for 20 years, but, the South is like, well, who's going to stop me? So they were still, like, trying to sneak, air quote, cargo in. And literally when they got to Mobile, they got caught. And having illegal cargo was the equivalent of, like, having cocaine on you. Not like a moral thing. Like, you shouldn't terrorize these people. More like taxes and property. So they got caught, and then he snitched on the people like, well, they told me to get it. Well, he said he'd get it. So all this plays out in like the newspaper, in the court cases. And
at the time.
Right. And so my great was like, okay, so can we go back home? And they were like,
no,
you stuck here. Bro. And he's like, well, can we have this land? And he's like, well, you can't have it, but you can pay for it. And so what he does is, it just so happens that there's a large, so I learned that Benin, had it gone through successfully, I would have been what you would call a Haitian. So most Haitians came from Benin. So he basically went to the entire community of freed slaves. Now, some of them had situations where, like, okay, in my will, I'll give you some money and a mule, or so he collected, I believe, like $500 from each freed person. Said, hey, there's over 5,000. I think maybe it was 5,000 acres. I think he's like, look, what we'll do is we'll recreate home here. So the stories like Geechee and so basically they recreated Africa in this 5,000.
That is incredible.
Yeah. So I'm just finding this out.
Ain't that crazy? Like with just
9 years ago. Yeah.
A little bit of research in your origin story, any of our origin stories, like the horrific nature of the story is like.
But also my life changed because, as I revealed on the show, like literally I told him like, I didn't know who or what I was. Yeah. Like we don't know who or what we was.
True,
like we can't say like, we're Italian
or
we're German. So once I found that out, then that literally cracked my head open.
And did what?
I mean, well, number one, the woman I was dating at the time was like, so you know what this means, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you would have been Haitian.
Yeah.
And the propaganda that we've had against Haitians in this country, like that voodoo, they do evil. Like everything that we've heard about Haitians, I had to reverse it and start doing the research. And then I realized like, oh, Haitians basically have introduced like things that I've credited other people for. Like I didn't know about meditation or
Haitians for meditation.
Dude,
look, you about to educate me, bro.
It's everything that we would credit like granola hippie people when they go do ayahuasca journeys or
that's Haitians.
Yes. And literally, and even with the story of the Haitian revolt when they revolted against the French.
Yep.
I was under the impression of like, okay, we'll wait till they're asleep and then we'll attack them.
That's what, yeah.
No, they were chained up by the neck and by the hands. They won their freedom by, according to like, maybe there's like 6 survivors in this thing. And they were trying to describe what they saw. And the only word they can get out was like, I mean, they were using a derogatory term like black magic, voodoo. Like they were playing to their, and so literally they were chanting and meditating to the moon, and literally the entire French army died. Like that was the mystery. Like how did they die? So when word gets back to the States, this is when we can't worship no other gods, but we had to follow the Christian law.
They used that for the subjugate. That makes perfect sense.
Clans are burning up churches and everything.
As
so there was always a fear of like magic or
don't let them. Yeah.
No more drums. Like there was a specific period at the beginning of Jim Crow and the Reconstruction in which those things were demonized.
Yeah.
And so which fully made me tap into like that was when I found that out, that was the green light that brought me to the Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary. Because, when I was younger, when we used to look at the album covers, like I was raised in a harsh Christian household.
Maurice was so metaphysical and everything.
But some Christians didn't like that. Like, what does that sign mean? What does this mean? What is this?
I know, I hate that. And
so, this literally just finding out, and mind you, this is just the great-great-great-grandfather on my mother's side. Like, everyone else was just a number. I don't know their names. I don't know where they came from or whatever. But just finding out 1/4 of my lineage.
That's beautiful, man.
Found out who I am.
Because I wish, I'm rather envious because I am ignorant of so much of my origin. And, other than you taking 23andMe and you being like, oh, DNA says I'm from this here. But I want to know the story. I want to know like.
We got to get you to Skip Gates, man.
Skip, what up, man? Be my Alex Haley, bro.
So I have to ask you a question about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a cosmopolitan town.
No, it ain't no cosmopolitan.
But it's not a country either. And it's not the South. It's the Midwest, is it not? Like, what are your memories of Milwaukee? Is there a culture there? Is there?
So my youth and teen years, any musical influence was within my family.
Okay.
Yeah, there were Milwaukee is probably not known, and it wasn't known to me back then, like you said, as any kind of a, musical mecca. Mm-hmm. But I've always believed that there's something about people who are musically inclined, and if they live in the Midwest, there is like you're at the halfway point of what's happening on the West Coast, what's happening on the East Coast, and what's happening in the South. And each one of those musical influences are so distinctly different. But then it has a way of meshing in the Midwest, which didn't really, I want to say, manifest itself as a Milwaukee identity of music. But for the people like me and my cousin George, and like my family, people who were just connoisseurs of music, our tastes was like we had no allegiance to this side or that side. So we were just like an amalgamation. And then I think that's why you get like Hitsville in Detroit. That's where you get the Ohio Players. That's where you get Jimi Hendrix. That's where you get Prince. That's where you get Stevie Wonder. It's all that Midwest energy that's like.
How far is it from Chicago? Like what's
an hour. An hour. Chicago jazz, that it's an hour and 15 minutes. You drive north and you're in Milwaukee from Chicago. Hour and 20 minutes.
So what I'm really dying to ask you
is what's a kringle? Do you know what a kringle is?
What is a kringle?
Yeah. A kringle, I was just kidding. But you know what a kringle is. He's laughing over there.
What's a kringle?
So
Cousin Jake, you know what a kringle is?
Yeah. Okay. Kringle is, nobody knows what a kringle is, but it's basically a really good dessert. It's like a strudel, and it's in the shape of a big-ass reef, and it's
and like, that's what you guys are known for?
Kringles, yeah.
Beer and kringle.
And beer, kringle, and getting drunk and passing out in the street.
Got you.
And Summerfest. Summerfest is a huge.
I've done Summerfest.
Yeah, I know you've done
times.
Summerfest because all the big artists do Summerfest. Milwaukee.
Does that still happen? Summerfest?
Absolutely. Yeah. And Milwaukee it's a great place on a great lake. But it was a dope place to be from. But you were going to ask a question. What is it?
Okay, so what I always wanted to know, and you're like the first Milwaukee resident I can ask this to, and actually the first black Milwaukee resident I can ask this to.
How do I,
you know what's happening. You know what I'm going to ask you.
There's so many directions you can go, but why am I thinking Jeffrey Dahmer?
That's exactly what I'm going to ask you. Okay, so look,
I got stories.
You came up in Milwaukee during the Dahmer years.
Yes.
And that's a case that like gutted the black community.
Yes.
And kind of showed how little the city was protecting us.
Yes.
So what did living through that, when you heard of him, was he caught already, or was it always or was there a buildup like, wait, 10 people were missing?
I have so much to say about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Hit me.
So there's the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing was like a dissertation on so much that is wrong, with Milwaukee. No, I shouldn't. No. Milwaukee, I love you. So much that is wrong with the criminal investigation system at the time as it relates to race, as it relates to certain people get a pass no matter what the evidence looks like. All right, go home, sleep it off. There were times there were people who would escape or were smelling things from the apartment or the decomposition about it, and were like, yo, y'all need to check this out. It's just a weirdo, don't worry about that guy. So my cousin, what's up, Ralph? My cousin was telling me one time he was at some spot. As soon as Jeffrey Dahmer got caught, my cousin was like, that's that nigga that he bought me a drink and was like, yo, let's hang out. Right. And I'm like, dude, if you weren't what word is it? My cousin was the kind of dude who, when we were 10 years old, he already knew about the birds and the bees, and he already knew like a lot of elements. Advance of how life works, and this is the way the system works. I was like, dude, if you weren't who you are, you might have been like, yeah, I have a drink, bro, what's up? But he was like, nah, I'm catching vibes from your crazy ass. And so that came out. There was another kid that I went to school with who I didn't really know, but just knew him just kind of like at the school, who was one of the victims. My father was a detective for the city of Milwaukee. He was not assigned to the Dahmer case, but his partner was assigned to the Dahmer case. So he would tell us, Arthur Jones would tell us, we went into the apartment. And he was like, the things that I saw when I opened up the freezer and I opened up the refrigerator, he was like, I'm not. And it was things like I never really heard about, or maybe you did, or people who know the Jeffrey Dahmer lore, maybe it came out, but my father's partner was like, we opened up the refrigerator and there were slices of human flesh, like hamburger patties with wax paper, like neatly organized, like this, that, and the other. Like I can eat this today, like a patty, and I'll go. There's other things I can say, but I won't. But it was just like, oh my God, and yeah, that Dahmer thing. In defense of Milwaukee, I'd like to say this because a lot of people, Jeffrey Dahmer is not from Milwaukee. The motherfucker got caught in Milwaukee.
Where was he from?
I think he's like from Ohio or some shit. Yo. That's interesting that you wanted to go to the Dahmer.
Isn't it weird how much this show just turned into Club Shay?
I know, right? Oh my God. Arthur Jones would be like, I don't know if I should tell y'all this. And me, I was like, at this time, what was I? When all this shit went down, I was like.
Even when he was caught, did you feel safe at all?
Well.
Like we went there in 95 for the first time. And I remember it was laundry day. Like this is back when, you know, like your new artist or whatever, every other week we make a laundry run. And I remember, one, you guys have an amazing laundromat that like, it was, someone had the idea to like, hey, let's have an arcade. It was like part 7-Eleven, part laundry. Yeah. Like college students obviously hung out there.
Yeah, Milwaukee, we take pride in our, home ec abilities. Yeah.
And so, and just watching the people, and I was like, this town is not over the tragedy that it just went through.
Well, I think after it happened, of course, there's going to be like this visceral, like, oh my God, the stigma that's going to be on this city is going to last for a long time. But I don't think a true Milwaukeean at that point felt unsafe because he was such an anomaly. Like it was so that's not Milwaukee. You got weird motherfuckers in Milwaukee, but that's a whole nother level of satanic, like far outside the reaches of my imagination, like crimes against humanity. That's not Milwaukee.
Got you.
Yeah.
All right, now subject change. What were you like in school?
Well, I brought my patties, my meat patties to school, neatly packed.
I'm never. It'll be 2 hours, and I'm still thinking about how anal retentive he was in terms of packing. Like, oh Jesus! In school, what kind of student were you?
I would say I was an average to good student. I was very nerdy. I like things like science fiction. What
was your best subject? Like, what was your best?
Creative writing and art.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I've always had like an ability for like creatively, anything I tried to do, I've always just had like this natural ability for it, whether it was singing, whether it was writing songs, whether it was painting. I won this art award for just painting, or whether it was like writing a story. Okay. So I was that kid. I just grew up like reading like Isaac Asimov and Ray Bradbury, and Rod Serling was a beast with them stories, man. Rod Serling short stories, and and it was like the music thing was a little interesting for me because I thought, like, I grew up in this family. I don't know if you're like, I don't know what your whole family thing was, but
I was going to say, what was the domestic situation?
Yeah, so in my family, everybody sings, everybody plays an instrument, sings, and it was just
How many members in the family?
So I'm the baby, and I have 3 full sisters. I have a half sister, and my brother, and I just grew up in this family where
6 of you.
Well, it was 5 of us growing up.
Okay. Still, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay.
But it was a situation where we would just break out into harmony all the time. And so from a very young age, I automatically had an ear for it. If I heard my sisters and my brother singing the alto and the tenor and the thing, I got really good at, okay, I'll find my note. And then my older sister, if I made a mistake, she'd be like, no, you want to come up to this on that part of the song. So I was like trained that way.
So you just break out in song?
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. We still do. And so, and
were you a church singing family?
Came up very church every Sunday, Sunday school. And then, so I'm the baby in this environment. You're going to love this, where like, okay, so my dad had this extensive classical music collection, and I used to love Debussy. I used to love Tchaikovsky, Strauss. So my little young ass would just be lost in this. And then my sisters would have the full gamut of R&B. Like one sister would be deep into the funkadelic, the other sister would be the Luther Vandross, and then the other sister would be more like the Roberta Flack, Donny Hathaway, and the Jackson 5, and James Brown. And then my brother was like the jazz fusion cat. So it'd be like the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
So you inherit all that trickle down.
David Sanchez and Tone.
Okay.
And Return to Forever, and Stanley Clarke, and Billy Cobham. And so I'm just this baby growing up in all of this stuff.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
What is the first album that you purchased with your own money?
Okay, the honest answer.
Yeah, and trust me, everyone wants to give the romantic,
the first album I brought was Sketches of Spain.
Right, no. What was it for real?
A Bill Cosby comedy album. And then
which one?
The one where he talked about trying to flush his brother Russell down the toilet.
Oh,
do you know
that
Russell,
one? My brother whom I slept with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I can't. It might have been Bill Cosby or Funky Favorites. Funky Favorites, which was just an album of stupid songs of like, he did the mash. He did the mums.
So like
novelty, stupid, silly songs. And I think I was probably 8 years old when I with my own money, I either bought, don't remember which one was first, Bill Cosby or Funky Favorites.
Okay.
With, what else was on Funky Favorites? Charlie Brown, Charlie Brown, and Purple People Eater.
Right.
It was a one night, one hold wine, Purple People Eater.
Right.
You know, so
nice,
so I was a goofy nerd.
Okay. You were human.
Yes.
Who was the figurehead, not related to you, like teacher or somebody that like actually saw you for who you were, that was like a hero to you growing up?
I mean, bit cliche-ish, but dad.
Okay.
You know, because my dad was this cultured dude who loved, you know, classical music and art and all, but he was, you know, I because of mobile man who had to make, you know, make ends meet for his family. He got a job as a cop. You know, he had to just say, not allow a lot of his dreams to come to fruition, I think, for, you know.
But hopefully his kids and the lineage are his dream. Right.
Yeah. So I've always looked up to my dad for that, because he was the constant and the on my ass, not the most emotional present dude, as most of us. That's how we grew up, but held us up to a certain standard. And then I would have to say 2 music teachers from my past that saw something in me and were just on me, like very on me in a way, like, okay, here's a record you need to listen to. I just want you to listen to the production on this. And it was Mr. Simiel at Milwaukee Tech. I think it's called Bradley Tech now.
Okay.
And Miss Carol Haywood, who is the choir director. You know, but because I remember being a kid, like being 5 or 6 years old, not really realizing that I had musical talent until I'm sitting next to kids try to sing a song. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do you not, can you not hear that note?
Right.
You know, Camptown ladies sing that song, doo-da. Camptown ladies sing that song, doo-da, doo-da. Like, no inflection, no. I'm like, what? How come y'all niggas don't, like, what's going on? And so I think it was a realization that especially when I thought about the fact of how my family, we just broke down harmonies like that. I was like, oh, maybe we're a little different than everybody else. All we needed was a Joe Jackson. Anyway.
Oh, no. No. You might gain some, but also pay for it, too.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, what was your first job ever? But have you ever been fired from a job?
No. I never been fired from my job.
But what's a notable job you had, like pre-Eric
Benét?
Yeah. Nice one.
I worked at McDonald's when I was 16, downtown Milwaukee. It was too hectic for me. So I was like, I need something easier. So I went to Taco Bell.
He started off as Calvin and then he quit.
Yeah. Like,
wait, why was Taco Bell easier?
First of all, it was the location. It was like downtown Milwaukee, McDonald's. It was just too much madness back there. It's like fries and burgers and now you got to press it. And then Taco Bell, I remember I worked at the Taco Bell on Fond du Lac, like way out from downtown. And it was just, easier living. Not living, but slower pace. And so you could... Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. Would you like to try our new taco salad? A little bit more relaxed.
Okay. In your childhood bedroom,
yes.
What is the main poster that adorns your wall?
Dude, you got some questions.
Well, we never, you know what it is? Like
you
people
ask them. That's why the Oscar-winning documentary director be asking these questions.
Dude, I mean,
love it.
There's this whole slew of media that don't treat artists like human beings. And I think this is kind of the thing where I want to know the human side of you.
So immediately I love when you ask these questions because immediately before I even answer, there's a visual that pops in my head. And there are 3 posters that were in my room. One was like a black light poster of this fantasy woman with big titties and just like
the velvet black poster,
with the velvet
afro.
Black light.
I had a cousin that had the astrological one, and I was not allowed to have that.
I wasn't into the astrological. I was into the big titties and the curve. And then I had a Commodore's poster
from the album.
Where they're
pointing at the sky.
You know the one?
I've become really good phone friends with Chuck D.
Oh, really?
And I didn't realize how immaculate or how much of an artist he was, a visual artist. He was, and he sent me some artwork when he was 14 or 15.
Really?
Of him, the inside poster of the 1977 album. Wherever Thomas Clary's pointing at the sky.
Yeah, I think that was it.
You know what's even weirder? That, when I was a kid, I would go through phases in which, I can't believe I'm telling this story.
Tell it!
I would go through phases whenever someone took a photo of me, you would know what my favorite album cover was. Right.
Because you were to the point.
But here's the thing though. I decided that Mylan Williams, the keyboard player, had the best pose where it's like, he's like on one leg.
Yes, that one.
But I did it at a family reunion in North Carolina and I fell over into the street and a car was coming.
Oh, shit.
And you know, like when black families are so disheveled and afraid where you get in trouble even for that, why would you do this?
Yeah.
And I remember getting that from my dad. But there was a period where
you did the post. That wasn't Robert
I went through
LePage.
phases. I was Chris Jasper of the Isley Brothers once. Always. I mean, why are you always looking at 2 o'clock up there? Marlon Jackson would have like right leg behind his left leg on the Get It Together album.
Right.
Like I would go through phases where I would only do the pose of my favorite album of that moment. And that Commodore is.
I love
What's
that.
weird is I almost wore the sweater to its laundry day at my crib.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll put a new shirt on, but I almost wore that poster.
Man, I love that.
What was the third one? Wow, every black household in the 70s had that Commodore
But I was
poster.
weird because there was another, this is an iconic poster too now. There was a poster of a baby who had a whole bowl of spaghetti dumped on his head with spaghetti sauce.
I've seen that.
Yeah. For whatever reason.
How'd that wind up in your crib?
Because it made me, it was fucking hilarious. It was like a baby with... with this stupid look on his face, and he's got like spaghetti dripping. And I think the quote was like,
God's not.
I forgot what the quote was.
It's like be patient with me, guys.
Maybe it was a Murphy's Law or something.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever it is. But it was fucking hilarious.
I remember that poster. What was the first concert you ever attended?
George Duke and Stanley Clarke. Yeah.
Where?
It was in Milwaukee, the Public Arts Center. The PAC. It's a Public
okay.
Arts Center in Milwaukee, yeah.
So this is like the Sweet Baby period?
Yeah.
Heaven Sent?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird that two of the most progressive, like, intricate musicians.
Oh, my God.
Made such a straight.
But the beauty about that project and that song in particular about music is if you have the most simplest melody and you're like a you or one of those real musical musicians, you can still have fun.
Yeah.
There was so much, you had the sitar going, they had the harmonies going, so you can...
So it made an impression on you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because I think partly because, you know, like I told you about the kind of music like I just kind of grew up listening to. I love the fact that Stanley Clarke and George Duke come together and make something that could touch top 40 radio when their musical well was so deep. And we're going to make this simple melody like George Duke was brilliant at. When I sing about it, it's sounded to sound out.
Right.
Of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like he could take that simple melody. It's like songwriting 101. Yeah, you can have your fun, you can have the harmonies and the strings and the this and that, doing that, but you got to grab them with that simple lullaby melody that anybody can sing.
Well, some of the best songwriters are people that have the ability to have mental level of musical intelligence, but also have the smarts to know that sometimes you have to cut a steak.
I want to ask you.
Yes.
So how the fuck do you explain something like Steely Dan? Where in the first 8 bars of the song, there's like, what?
Are we the same person?
12 different substitutions, and then you modulated, brought it back down. You don't know what the fuck Donald Fagen is talking about in the lyrics, but somehow it's a #1 pop song. How the fuck did they do that?
I'm going to tell you something. All right, so I just had Thundercat on the show.
Used to be my bass player.
And yo, he's played for everyone
Yes.
secretly on the low.
Yes,
without.
I love that dude.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
He was talking about like a Steely Dan song, and I just happened to do the. I'm sorry, Donald. I did the Yacht Rock doc.
I hate the term, but I get it.
Well, I love. I
It's
mean, I
like
love
the
it.
same neo soul. It's
Right.
Like, anyway, don't get us started on that.
But I realized that I really have not made much space for Steely Dan in my life, probably since. So I lived. Okay, so the reason why, you know, people are like, oh, you're so knowledgeable of music and everything. Don't get it twisted. If I was allowed to have control of the family stereo and the family car, I'd be playing what I want to listen to.
Which would have been?
I mean, you know, I was a kid of the moment. I wanted to hear Bootzilla wind me up and whatever. Yeah, but my dad was like, my father was just like your family. He was he listened to the yacht rock of his day. He liked Mathis, he liked Streisand, he liked singers because he was a crooner. My dad sounded like Nat King Cole.
Really?
My mom, however, if she were born when I was born, she would have been ahead. Like, she dug in the crates and, oh, this is a funky looking album cover. I'm gonna get this. And it's like Bitches Brew or whatever. So, and then my sister, who's slightly older, in order to fit in with her girlfriends in school, she's bringing home the rock stuff. She's bringing home Bowie and all that stuff. And so, I mean, there was a period in which I know Dad played like Gaucho and Asia.
Sister.
Right, but we didn't. He really didn't. He controlled the stereo, and he really, like, he would go through, maybe he went through it twice. Maybe it was just too intricate for him. and he couldn't find something to sing along to. He liked stuff he could sing along to.
Steely Dan was not that.
Right. So I've realized that, you know, like I love Steely Dan, but I need to. So right now, I just started my phase of, I'm on Can't Buy a Thrill now, where I'm like listening to a Steely Dan record for at least 2 hours a day.
Have you gotten into the first Donald Fagen solo album?
Dude, Nightfly is, now that's the thing, like.
That's one of my top 5 favorite albums of all time. Oh my God.
IGY is probably.
Yeah. Maxine, IGY, Greenflower Street.
Yeah.
Oh my.
New Frontier.
Oh, the new, yeah, bro. Oh,
so, yeah, like I will say, if I could compile 5 songs that, like, no matter how depressing, and all right, I tested this during the night after election results.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Where
I stopped drinking, but I was going to start again that night.
Dude, so I said, I want to see how powerful this is, and I played IGY.
Oh, that's a great barometer.
And I was like, wow, I still feel good right now.
Yeah.
But the song's only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So
yeah.
I was back to ground zero. But yeah, I gotta give more time.
That's so funny, that particular song, talking about an idealized utopian society. It's like, get me out of here. I like that.
No, it's like, if someone were to ask me, gun in my head, like
Tijuana Brass and all that. Oh.
Well, my favorite Herb Alpert song, there's a song called Route 101, which it's the happiest. No,
that's
the dating game.
Oh, okay.
Route 101 is so one night I met.
Yeah.
This is maybe the second time I'm at Dilla's crib.
Oh man!
And Baten comes downstairs and says, "Yo, I want to do something to this," and he hands Dilla the record, and he puts Route 101 on.
Woo!
And they're playing it, and it's a happy song. And I'm looking at them like, are y'all trolling me? Like, you can't, because I was in the mind state of, if it's hip hop,
it gotta
be some gritty, raw breakbeat shit.
But I would think you would have been, because the real dopest hip hop niggas were like deep in that.
This is what Dilla taught me. See, I grew up in a household with 3,000 records, and even to this day, I have 200,000 records, or maybe I've perused through 7% of that. Like, how much music are we going to consume in our lifetime?
Right.
I can also ask politicians, how much money are you going to spend in your lifetime?
How much is enough? Definitely not
right.
$1 trillion.
Right. And so the whole thing is that once I realized, oh, these guys are serious. Like, and I looked at Dilla like, what, are you going to make some shit out of this?
And he
was like, oh,
did.
hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I never got to hear what he made of it, but there's been a million times where, like, I will get a Johnny Mathis record and be like, all right, take this Rick James record and this Johnny Mathis record and show me what you got. The thing I learned from Dilla the most is no song goes unlistened to or no stone unturned. Like,
yeah.
And so, but I will say, like, Route 101 is my favorite song, and in second place is IGY. There's something about a shuffle. Black people need a shuffle song. Like, I think the last good shuffle song we've really truly had. I mean, okay, there's the whole world by Outkast, but no, but I'm just saying, like, the way you make me feel was probably the last. We need a shuffle song.
Give me another one of your favorite shuffles.
I mean, Doing It to Death by James Brown. Gonna have a fun. But in order for us to embrace shuffle, we have to reacclimate ourselves again with jazz. And
it's needed.
It's where music is now. I don't know.
I don't know if they can make it back to that, because it's so diluted down to, let's just take this little part and repeat it and repeat it. Let's do no bridges, no changes, no modulations, no just, yeah. So right.
But in order for that to happen, we have to work on our emotional state. The music reflects how we feel.
See, yo, ladies and gentlemen, that's why he's not Amir. Questlove.
Thank you, man. All right, when you were 15,
Yeah.
what is it that you wanted to be when you were an adult? Like,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, what did you think your calling was in life?
I thought I was going to be a fashion designer.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a fashion designer because music made me happy, and clothes made me happy, and putting the right outfits together made me happy. But because of my family, I knew that we were special, but at the same time, it was just it was like a fish, like, okay, it's water. Big deal. I can swim in water. So
was the specialness the fact that you guys were just together?
Yeah, I probably felt that it was special because I was with them, and then we all harmonized together.
Okay.
And so I don't think I really considered. I think my passion for music deepened when I realized right around that age that if I sang, girls treated me a certain way.
Okay.
But I still didn't think of it as a career until, like, my dad was just like, I remember telling my dad, like right at high school, I was like, Dad, I want to go to this fashion institute. And my dad, being who he was, and he had aspirations of his children being doctors and lawyers and getting their PhDs and
Success.
stuff. Yeah, success.
Safety.
He was like,
Safety.
come on, man. My dad was like, black man going into fashion. He was looking at it very from his lenses of going through 1940s, 50s,
Trust
60s.
me, I know.
Yeah, and so I listened to Dad, and then I went to college for a couple years, not really knowing why, and feeling like I was wasting.
What did you major?
Absolutely nothing. Wasting money.
Where'd you go to college?
University of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I dropped out because after a year and a half to 2 years, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I can't latch on to anything that I see as my future. And when I dropped out of college, my cousin George let me know that there was a band in Milwaukee that needed a lead singer, and he was already playing guitar, and my sister Lisa sang, and she was just kind of doing her thing in life at that time too. And so my sister and I joined this band that was already kind of a corporation unto itself, doing like gigs and weddings and bars in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, just traveling around doing stuff. And so that started the whole, like, I'm 19 years old.
So you're in college, and at no point before then, like, so you just coincidentally just happened to carry this voice around.
Yeah.
And it was just like a footnote, like,
I
oh, and I sang
songwrite-
to a little, like,
My cousin specifically called me because when I was 14 and 15, I would go over to his. He was like 8 years older than me, and he had his own place, and he saw musical ability in me at 14, 15 years old.
that you didn't see in yourself.
I thought it was fun. He was like, yo, come help me write this song. So we started writing songs. Like, oh, this is cool. So I went all through college, like, not making the connection, like, fuck this school shit. I'm going to do this. But loving music and writing songs and creating all this stuff with him and my sister until I joined this band.
Okay.
And then we were in this band, and the band also owned a recording studio. And we're talking about 1990, right?
Oh, that was rare.
That's very rare. So it's like, they own a recording studio? Yeah, when you go in, there's 2 clocks on the wall, one for the East Coast and the West Coast. Wow. So it was like, we were easily impressed back then.
Right.
So they start letting us use the recording studio when we weren't doing the shitty club gigs or whatever we were doing in the band. And we ultimately put together a demo, my sister and I. And then we started slinging the demo around, and then I got my first deal at EMI Capital with my sister, and I signed to EMI Capital with the 3 of us writing the songs. And the person
And this is Benét?
This is Benét.
Okay.
And the young lady in the waiting room in there, Allison Ball, gave me that deal. And
Shout out to
so
Allison.
we'll flash forward to now, where I got a little Skrilla to start a little record label. Allison is running the label, JBR.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how that starts. So
She also gave me my solo deal at Warner Brothers. Allison did.
you've stuck with her the
Yeah,
whole
we've
time.
just been like best friends ever since.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's hard to find, that level of loyalty.
Everyone in the industry says that. It's like it's rare to meet, first of all,
someone that sticks with you and doesn't rid you once you don't serve them a purpose.
Especially a record executive.
Yeah, because it's all about self-preservation and saving their job.
Exactly. So
that means she believes in you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what would you say is the first thing? Do you remember the first creative project that you made?
Yeah, I remember the first song that I wrote. Well, there's the first song I wrote, and then there's the first song that I recorded.
Okay.
So the first song I wrote was a song called "The Phone" when I was like 12 or 13 years old. But the first song that I recorded was a song called Gina. And this was like right around that time when I was just writing songs with my cousin. And it actually won an award. Like Wisconsin had some kind of like songwriters competition. And Gina won an award, you know. And even then I was like, I didn't like cut the safety net and just jump into the music industry. I was like, this is fun. I guess I'm supposed to go to college and just figure out what vocation I should have.
Well, singing wise, who are the three singers that are your
great question?
Your North Star.
My North Star, top of the list is Ella Fitzgerald.
Okay.
And then it's a cross between Donny Hathaway and Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin, somewhere in there.
Okay. Who is the singer? And oftentimes, you know, we're in an industry in which, all right, yesterday I was just talking about like how like Rochelle Farrell has really never truly like gotten her flowers. And,
yeah,
like,
because she's fucking incredible.
Right. Who do you see as a singer that you grew up listening to that really just never?
There's a couple of them.
All right, who?
As much as people love Bobby Caldwell, I mean, I just there's something about his tone, the way he perfectly landed the vibrato at exactly the right place, and the fact that he played all the instruments. Bobby Caldwell is one of those. Another one is probably Gino Vanelli.
Yes.
Because like he's got those deep jazz fusion roots, and him and his brother Ross writing all that deep, crazy shit. But still, just like Stanley Clarke and George Duke, they could be like, all right, let's zero in on a hit.
Right.
But then the well is so deep. Yeah, they come to mind.
No, I love that. Like my sister used to always listen to the first album, Powerful People.
Powerful People. Oh,
with
my
JoJo
God.
and all that stuff on there, and yeah.
Mama Coco.
Yeah, yes. All right. So what is the road that leads to? Because I always feel as though like your first album is basically like the totality of your life from birth to the moment you.
Yeah. And then can you do it again?
Oh wait. Well, I mean,
yeah.
You know, for you the sophomore thing was
the sophomore
blessing.
thing was the one.
That was the blessing.
Yeah.
But all right. So True to Myself, like the road that leads to True to Myself. Just tell me about the experience of getting a deal. Like, were you given agency to create what you wanted, or was it like you're learning as you're going along?
I think it was a combination of, it was a almost like a council of the three of us, my sister, myself, and my cousin, along with the record label. And of course, as an individual, I'm going to have my own ideas about how and what songs should be done and how they should be produced.
There's the trio album, the Benét album.
Yeah,
okay.
I did not have that agency on that record. So that by the time True to Myself happened, that was my first solo album.
But explain to me, how did the Benét situation implode?
It didn't really implode as much as it was like my sister, very pragmatic, practical person, who she had a pretty good job in Milwaukee at the time. And my cousin, it was always his dream and my dream to be these producers, these songwriters. And my sister said, all right, I'll come along. Let's see what happens. And we did the Benét album. And, you know, a story as old as time. It wasn't properly promoted or marketed, or maybe we didn't have the right hit on the record.
What year was this?
This is 92.
Was Gary at EMI at this time?
Gary, wait. Why is that name familiar?
Gary.
Why is a Gary EMI?
I only know Gary because
very familiar.
He was D's guy for Brown Sugar. Hang on.
Really?
He was at EMI around 92.
He was probably in the hallways. I was primarily just dealing with Ron Fair and Allison.
You dealt with Ron Fair?
Absolutely. Ron Fair had.
What was that like?
Hey, you got to qualify that.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to answer why I asked you in that sort of way.
No, Ron, I mean.
See, I dealt with Interscope Ron Fair.
I did.
And they're very specific on our way or the highway, and I chose the highway.
Well, that's probably. So Ron Fair had to give Allison the okay because Ron Fair was Allison's boss.
Okay.
To sign us, and so Ron Fair.
Shout out Ron. This is not slander.
Yeah, I mean Ron. I just like 2 years ago. I never really had a relationship with Ron Fair back then. Allison had the relationship with Ron Fair, and so in that respect, Ron's always been cool with me. We just had dinner a couple years ago.
Okay.
But
for those watching, Ron, kind of during like Interscope's glory years, like if you look at Black Eyed Peas, Maya's stuff.
Yeah.
Who else? Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera. Yeah.
Yeah, Aguilera.
Those were Ron Fair glory years.
No doubt. Like
yeah.
Like Ron Fair, I would say is probably kind of right behind the zone where that we hold in the space for like Clive Davis. As far
exactly.
As like having the ears. My rebellious 20, 30-year-old self, was just in another place where, and I believe Will I got to get you on the show too. When Will talks about the third album with the Peas, they gave me the scenario, which is basically Interscope and those guys was like, look, we have what it takes to make you guys winners, or you could just be the Roots. And it was like,
see,
no, but like, and they kind of made it. I didn't take it as an insult, because the thing is that
they're basically saying you can kind of choose not to reach white people.
Well, it's hard to tell. Like, if you were to ask me now, okay, so it's been no secret that with the Roots and the Fugees out at the same time, or whatever.
Yeah,
and we're touring with them at a point in which like they started out as our opening act, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh Jesus, like what's happening, like and if you were to ask me in retrospect, like, okay, if you can go back again and do it all over again, and let's say we put you in that same scenario where your second album will sell 16 million units, but also this is what will come with it, and everything, and those three have a very specific story of what's happened to them in the last 25 years. Yeah, and while it's happening, am I sitting in a bathtub having a panic attack because they're on the cover of Rolling Stone and my electricity's off and we're never going to make it? Like, I've had many of those nights.
Oh, so have I.
But now, man, like we've survived
the idea
a quiet war.
Yes.
And it's one that's not tangible enough for us to actually prove that it was a war, because people just see it as like, oh, the Roots and Eric Benét, like, yeah, you guys singing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot you got to go through.
The journey along the way will kill some motherfuckers.
It's taxing. It has.
And it has.
No, it's killed every motherfucker.
Yeah, because it is. There's something to be said. There's so much in what you just said, but I just feel like it's so. First of all, what we do, it's so toxic to the human psyche and just our journey to get the individual adulation. Like, and you got to be a really strong emotional person to keep yourself in check. Like, even like I've never been like a really big star, but being plucked from Milwaukee and then just having an unhealthy amount of attention on you for crazy shit.
I've seen you 8 times in my life, and each time, like the drug of whoa, whoa, like I was there for key moments in your life.
Yeah,
I was there in the front row of the NAACP Awards when that moment happened. Like, and I know that's a drug feeling.
Yeah, it is.
That's such a high, and what people don't know is an hour after the show's done, I've discovered DJing after the show as a way to let myself down.
Yeah, that was wise.
To avoid drinking or to avoid any other.
That was wise.
That
was wise.
But
people will never understand that part of the journey. You see the snapshot of fame and success, and it's like, I want that, but that's only the snapshot, dude. And I know it sounds so like, oh, poor you guys. I know it comes off like that. But
this is why I make movies. Like, because the DNA of all the movies is, again, to show you the human side of, because, I wanted to know why was Sly Stone sabotaging. You get everything you ever wanted. Like, just show up.
Yeah.
And, I was one of those people that would judge, unfairly D'Angelo, Lauren, whatever.
It's difficult not to unfairly judge them.
But I get it now.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that once you jump in this pool, it's no explaining how to it's no explaining the slow horror of it all.
Woo, you poetic motherfucker.
it's kind of why I have the space, just to meet other people. Like, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
So, like, when the first wave of what we call neo soul came through, for you, how much pressure did it feel? Because you're coming out the gate with the D'Angelos, with the Ericas, with Tony Riches, with the
Tony Rich. That's right. Yeah,
dude. Like, just literally. At the time, did it feel like, oh, this is the dawning of a new day? Like,
That's exactly what it felt like, because I thought it was my idea. you
thought you were alone like that?
I thought I was doing something. It was like, nah, I want to go back to the Donny Hathaway. I want to go back to the keyboards, and I love the way, Bobby Caldwell with all these live instruments. I thought, oh, I got a great idea. That's why I call the album True to Myself.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, I'm gonna do it like me, and then it was like, apparently. There was 12 other motherfuckers thinking the same thing, more than that.
Well, even starting that record, one, how did it feel dusting yourself off from the rubble of the Benét project before, and then doing it by yourself without your sister, without your cousin?
God,
because is there a whole the family dynamic and the guilt or the people pleasing aspect?
There's definitely some family guilt of, hey y'all, I gotta go do this. But the beautiful thing about having such an incredible family like I have is like, all right, then little brother, we support you. And how'd
you made that happen?
I didn't. That was my mom and dad just raising us like that, and it was I don't know. So it's like
no one ever gets over the guilt of I got to do it for myself.
Yeah.
No one ever gets it.
I have an incredible family, and I never not give it up to my family whenever I'm thinking about my road to being here. But that part of it was. It was liberating. It was like, I remember, because Allison will tell you, because Allison saw so much in me from the Benét thing. And she was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to bring you out to LA. This was after we got dropped for the EMI thing. I'm going to bring you out to LA. I know all these producers, and they're getting all these placements, and you're going to be out here for a month, and you're in court with this guy. And then I did that. I went out there and I recorded all these songs that sounded like what was happening. And
wait, did you write Spiritual Thing or Femininity? Or
well, I'll tell you about that. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, I work with all these producers, and this was like 94, 3.
Yeah.
And I remember we listened to all of the stuff and nothing was hitting either one of us. And she was just like, you know what? I spoke to all the producers that you just work with, and they were like, yeah, the nigga can really sing. That's not the problem. He's just not, his voice ain't really fitting on this stuff. And so that's when I was like, how about this? Let me just go back to Milwaukee and let me just get with my people. This cat DeMonte, who is this brilliant keyboard player in Milwaukee, and my cousin George.
Okay.
I'm like, let me just write a bunch of shit that feels good to me. And that's where I wrote True to Myself.
Who were you working with previously before you went back to the woodshed to do it yourself? Are you allowed to say?
I am allowed to say, but if I'm being quite honest with you, I don't remember.
Never mind.
Yeah, it was like it was talented guys. Allison was like, this guy's gotten placements here. This guy, so I would record these songs.
Got you. Okay.
And so I went. After that didn't work, I just went back to Milwaukee, wrote True to Myself. Did all those songs. I got with this cat, Oshun Lade. Do you know Oshun Lade? He's a DJ producer now. But anyway, he used to be called Christian Warren back in the day. Okay. I recorded Femininity with him. Yeah, and then I remember Allison had just gotten her job at Warner Brothers, and I remember saying, "All right, well, check this out. See what you like about this." She called me. It's like, nigga, this is what we need. This shit is hot, nigga. And she let the people in the building at Warner Brothers hear it, and there was a buzz around. And that's how I got the Warner Brothers deal.
Who was this? Still Medina-led Warner Brothers, or who was like the head? I never knew what the structure was.
No, who was
like after Medina left? I don't know.
So who was head? That's a good. I tried to stay out of the whole executive thing and just be in the studio and deal with Allison. Okay. If Allison was in there, Allison, come in here. Who was at the head of?
Tom Wally, right?
No, that was much later. Allison knows. Yeah, Tom Wally was much later.
Cousin Jake will let us know.
Yeah.
So once like these songs start hitting, what is the feeling?
Yeah, like spiritual thing.
Yeah, like what is the feeling of? Is
vindication?
It like,
maybe
I made it, or
no? I never felt like I made it. And
even now, do you sort of feel like every day is?
Yeah, I still don't feel like I made it. I still feel
we will forever be climbing the.
Yeah, I will forever. And I think that's the thing. Like you're a true musician artist, so you're more about reaching an unreachable perfection of something that can never be perfected. And so I always feel like, oh man.
Well, you just said how much is enough like 10 minutes ago. And that is kind of the book I'm reading right now is trying to teach me like really to settle into not being insatiable.
Yeah.
Or it's never perfect enough.
The fulfillment never completely happening.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that first time out, okay, when you got your deal, and I always ask this, what was the first extravagant thing you did for yourself when you got to the other side or made it or got your advance or?
Shit. Got a condo.
Okay. So that was just more like, I need a place to live.
Yeah,
okay.
I never really.
Well, mine was just sneakers.
Sneakers.
Oh, dude, I went out. When I got my advance, I purchased 10 pair. Like, you got to understand, like, I lived in a 1 pair sneaker a year household.
Yeah.
And you got school sneakers of which you couldn't wear at home. So it's like your play clothes and your school.
So you just went sneaker crazy.
Dude, when I got my advance, I went and got every color code of Pumas ever.
Wow, that's dope.
And then I forgot. My dad was like, I didn't tell my dad about the Roots until the second album.
What? Wait.
You already know the drill. Like, again, same story.
Yeah.
My dad wanted me to go to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Juilliard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to my insurance job to pay for college. I did my audition.
Yeah.
And it just so happens, on the train ride home, Tariq was with me. I auditioned at the new school in the Juilliard, got on the train ride home, and it was somehow a Grey Poupon commercial or the end of what I call Dumb and Dumber. The finest woman walks up and says, "Excuse me, are you the drummer in the Spike Lee Levi's commercial?" Now, yes, having gone to school with Boys to Men.
This is hilarious.
Having gone to school with Boys to Men, I was in the Motown Philly video.
Yeah.
But my dumb ass I wasn't thinking quick enough because she was paralyzing and was beautiful. I was like, no, that's not me. And she's like, oh, okay. And she sauntered off, and Tariq's like, and then the next day, we're watching Soul Train, and the Spike Lee commercial comes on, and we have the eureka, like, yo, that girl thought this was us, so why don't we get a bucket and go on South Street and see what's up? So we...
No.
The anniversary of what you know as the Roots, 34 years ago last Saturday, I took a white chitlin bucket from his grandmom's crib, some drumsticks. We freestyled for, 4 hours.
Why did I never know this story?
If we don't make $150 and change, we're never doing it again. It was just that one time. Remember we played on the street corner and
Yeah.
But $150, 75 each.
Back in the day.
That was date night money.
Back in the day?
Right. So we're like,
I was making $75 a week in that band I was telling you about.
Dude, we thought we was rich.
Yeah.
So then it's like, let's do it next week. Then it was like, well, let's bring out the real drums. Hey, can I join your band? And
oh my God, I love when things happen organically and for real.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
So that's kind of how it happened. So, but my dad, I did not tell my dad about any of it because he was looking at like, you hang with that hoodlum Tariq and you need to be hitting them books.
Tariq. What's up, Tariq? You hoodlum?
No, I mean, look, I have the parents that will be like, you better Motown 25 them dishes.
Right. Oh, my
better,
parents too. My mom and dad too. Yeah.
Literally, like, you better don't believe a hype that homework. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they would do.
Yes.
So, I mean, eventually my cousins outed me, and my dad's like, what's this? And we're on the front page of like the Philadelphia Inquirer, like, Roots sophomore album, everything. I was like,
similar story. Like my dad didn't know that I was writing all these songs,
right?
Until I was playing. It was Gina that won that contest I was talking about. And hey, that's you. You wrote that? And he did that. Like the biggest version of the compliment that my dad could ever do was, hey, that's pretty good. And then that was it.
You got me had to get added. No, you got me started getting play on MTV in the afternoon.
Wow.
And then finally
your bar was
he let up my fourth album. Then he was
God
like,
damn.
Well, black parents are just about the safety of it all.
Absolutely. And it's all coming on
respectability, politics.
Yeah.
Who was the figure that you met early in your career that like had you shook to your core? Because I know that you're meeting your idols and all these things, and like how just intimidating was that first round?
First round was crazy, and the first I love your questions because every time you ask one, a person or an image pops in my head. It was Natalie Cole. I have
such a great Natalie Cole story. What was yours?
I want to hear your Natalie Cole story. But so my sister and I were doing this was before we got the Benét album, and we were just in that band, and we were working on our original songs, and my cousin George submitted us for this, that, and the other, and we did the Jack the Rapper convention back in the day, which eventually got us on this show called Big Break.
I remember Big Break.
Of course.
You were on that?
I won Big Break for so every Big Break, for those not watching, it's kind of like Star Search.
Yeah.
So my sister, every episode would have a winner. Oh, you got this many votes, and today's winner is Benét. And then at the end of the season, they would have all the winners come back and compete for who is the seasonal winner.
Right.
And the seasonal winner was R. Kelly and Public Announcement.
I wasn't ready for this. They were on it too?
Yes. And
wait, what year was this?
Shit, man. This must have been like 91 or some shit. It's like that. And
How
so,
come I never knew this?
or 90, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, and Natalie Cole was the host. And I never met a big celebrity before.
She was the host.
She was the host. And
She was the host.
I just remember, when you're plucked from obscurity in Milwaukee, you have an idea of what an iconic, legendary celebrity is going to be or going to be like. And she was the antithesis. She was the opposite. She was just so, oh my God, you guys are you're so talented. She wanted to sit and have a conversation, and she was just so real and raw. And that shook me. I was like, but do you know that you're Natalie Cole? I'm thinking to myself,
Right.
You're Natalie Cole. And she's just
Yes,
like,
she did that.
You and your sister are just so adorable, and I love you, and the way you harmonize. And so, yeah, that was incredible. But what is your story?
All right. Actually, okay. So you said that, and you just reminded me that I met Natalie Cole twice.
Okay.
So technically, the first time I met her was probably the most dream scenario of all time. Speaking of like Jack the Rapper, there's there's a Philadelphia legend, Deanna Williams, who would throw these conventions. Conventions were like a thing of the 90s,
That was
whatever.
the thing. We didn't have no internets.
Right. So we had the I Am convention in Philadelphia, and I would intern. I've interned there like for at least like 2 or 3 years in a row. And the last time I did the I Am convention, they were going to give like Stevie Wonder the Diamond Award of Excellence or something like that.
Yeah.
And so Stevie Wonder has a routine that I've learned like throughout the years, where after he gives a performance, he'll have a meet and greet in his dressing room or maybe in his hotel suite upstairs.
Not to...
And there's always a piano.
Keep going. But Stevie Wonder, one of the most beautiful, like incredible people to know. Anyway, go
Exactly.
ahead. Yeah.
So Stevie Wonder, it's like clockwork. Literally, after he's done giving a performance or does what he do, there's always a grand piano inside of his hotel room or backstage. And, the word's getting out, okay, Stevie Wonder is going to have a meet and greet in his room. So the Roots were allowed to come in there. And by the time I get there, like Stevie, the best part of a Stevie Wonder show is this part, which is he's at the piano. And, of course, every piano's just surrounded by at least 20 women. And it'll be random things like, oh, there's Valerie Simpson.
Incredible.
Oh, there's Kathy Sledge.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
And he's literally going through his albums. Like, I got in right when, like, I think he started doing People and then Visions. He was doing Visions. So I'm watching this for a half hour. And then, I take a seat. And then I decide to get some air. By this point, he's like on Songs in the Key of Life. Like, he's literally going through his discography, and they're singing everything.
I love it.
And I sit out there, and then suddenly, like, Andre Fisher and Natalie Cole come and sit down next to us. Now, I am one of the biggest Rufus fans of all time. Andre Fisher was the drummer in Rufus.
Oh, absolutely.
He's also the nephew of one of my idols, Claire Fisher.
Fisher, who I had the pleasure of before he passed.
Work with Claire Fisher?
I had the pleasure on a song. Absolutely. A Claire Fisher string arrangement. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the beginning of D'Angelo's Really Love is the last thing that Claire Fisher
because
put
he's
together
doing all
before
those
he
string
died.
arrangements on those Rufus albums, Little Boy Blue,
Yes.
and all those beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's what.
So I had a skillion questions for Andre Fisher, and he's telling me about like when Rufus first formed, and it took me an hour to be like, yo, like Natalie Cole and Andre Fisher don't know me from a can of paint, but they're like
blew
really
you away, didn't it?
And by this point, he's on side 4 of like Songs in the Key of Life. Like I'm missing If It's Magic and As. Like in the back, you hear, oh man.
You're making this shit up.
No, like we're on the balcony.
Talking to Andre Fisher, Natalie Cole with Stevie Wonder, just.
However, my fun Natalie Cole story is night 1 of the Voodoo tour. I learned what the term 86 means. Now, you have to, I thought I was in this industry between, this is Voodoo comes out in January, so we're doing a week at the House of Blues,
right?
Just as warm-up shows before we start the tour.
Those House of Blues gigs.
I love. There's nothing like, and I feel guilty for it because people when they talk about LA, they're like, "Ah, man, I hate LA. LA is not real, and I'm leaving here." And da 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 da.
Man, those House of Blues gigs are great.
Yeah, but whenever we go to LA, it's just like, oh man, what's going to happen tonight? And so we did a week at the House of Blues, and every night, like I thought I was in this industry, but to be there for a 2-month-old Voodoo album, of which now it's in everyone's system.
Yeah. And
we're testing these shows out. And there's a point in the show where, I get like a 2-minute break while something's happening on the stage. And I'm listening on the walkie-talkie of like one of the, and I keep hearing the term 86, 86. She's getting 86.
She's getting 86.
I get backstage and Tina Ferris is like, yeah, man, we had the 86 Natalie Cole. Yo, one more again is probably the most nice. If you would ask, like, what's the experience that was the hardest of the Voodoo tour? It's doing one more again because either a fight's going to break out, or sometimes the women would get smart and be like, okay, and they would run like football plays, like, okay, 3 security guards on that side and 1's over there. So this is what I'll do. I'll run on stage. It never failed.
Really?
2 would run on stage, and then 4 security guards would get them.
And that's the opening.
And then they were open, and
wow.
So then it just became how can we keep D'Angelo from bleeding? Scratching him.
I ain't never had them problems.
Dude, but at one, or even worse, it'll be a fight in the audience. And I don't know what happened, but Natalie Cole was not getting out the way for nobody. And I heard they were scrapping. And
who was actually scrapping?
They had the 86 Natalie Cole out of the House of Blues and 2 other women for either about to get into it or whatever. I never knew what the term 86 meant until the Natalie Cole moment. Wait, I have something hilarious to tell you. So is Milwaukee Fest held at the...
Summerfest.
Is Summerfest held in that sort of outdoor amphitheater thing?
Yeah, by the water.
Okay. I have
another story.
Oh, God. I don't know if I should tell this story.
Yes.
I told it. Okay, I told it in his obituary. But, okay, we're sound checking. This is the one show that we had together.
Okay.
It was Eric Benét and D'Angelo in Milwaukee, the summer of 2000.
Okay.
Now, okay, you know what your situation was back in 2000.
Yeah.
And, we're in general, and it wasn't a rule like, keep people away. Like Prince will have like motherfuckers like,
yeah, you
can't come on stage and watch shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, we're playing and we're sound checking Devil's Pie.
Woo!
And we're just sound checking.
Yeah.
So it's basically like just sound checking. Like we're not going through the motions or whatever. And we look to the left and I'm in my communication mic. And I said, oh my fucking God, yo, she's here. And she's watching us. And it's like, make her go away. And again, it's like we were frozen. But the thing was, I noticed that we started getting more intense.
Of course you did.
But then D's getting, and I forget that D can hear my communication mic. I said, yo, man, I can't concentrate.
You told us at the obituary?
I told this, yes, because this is one of the funniest moments in life.
Okay.
And next thing I know, like, he looks to the left, and I instantly see his body freeze, like, holy shit, she's here. And the next thing I know, like, he's now, like,
he full
hit me 2 times and shit. And I'm like, dude, wait, what are we?
Sound check, nigga.
Yeah, I'm like, we're good. Like we tested everything, and we went through like the 14-minute. So this is what happens. This is what happens. Now we're doing full-fledged devil's pie for nobody.
Oh, for
There's
somebody.
nobody in the house. And I'm like, oh God, like we're literally like a boulder, like headed down.
Yeah.
And he is in his James Brown bag, and he's like doing the splits and all that stuff.
Oh shit, I was kidding, and he was.
No, but this is what happens. There's a point in the song, right, when the all a lie, where we learned this from Prince, where he runs to one side of the stage and slides in the home plate.
Oh yeah.
But this is what he didn't know. It was a wooden floor.
Oi, splinters.
Oh, worse. There was a nail.
Oh.
There was a nail.
It's Milwaukee, man. Nothing's put together properly.
It was like there was a nail inside the stage, right?
Oh.
So he's running. And and when he slides in the home plate,
just
the nail slices, like he has very thin cotton slacks on. You ever watch Charlie Brown where he's at the pitcher's mound?
Yes.
And he throws the pitch?
Yes.
And then next thing you know, he's like butt naked because the D'Angelo had pants on, and then he did the slide, and the nail just ripped a perfect, like literally his pants were.
Oh my God! But it got him too, right?
I mean, he was bleeding, but it was also like, dude, you're commando. What the fuck? And
well, that worked out kind of good.
No, it was. Then it was like, all right, stop the song. He ran on stage and got new pants. But literally,
oh my God,
we've never done a more intense sound check in my life. And
I love that.
I'm sorry,
I love it.
I had to bring that up.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so for you've and I mentioned at the top of the show that you've created the wedding song. When something is successful, and overtly successful, does it become a burden? Now, having done the Earth, Wind, and Fire doc, Philip shares a story where he has to break people's hearts because they don't know that Reasons is a cheating song and not a wedding song. So he talks about the insane amount of times they've been asked to perform Reasons at a wedding or whatever. For Spend My Life With You, like how, like at what point did you realize, like, and how many, were you ever given any wedding requests to perform this? And do you get tired of singing it?
To answer that part of the question, I remember being a kid and seeing some of my favorite artists who were known for certain songs. And I remember thinking, wow, I bet they get like tired of doing that same, here they go, they're doing that same damn song. And so I would imagine that if I were ever to make it, I would just get sick of doing the same song over and over again. I don't have that sensation. I love performing my music. I think it's one of the things that keeps me feeling young. I think every time I send a Sometimes I Cry or Spend My Life.
Well, I was going to say, sometimes I want to ask it because the times I've seen you perform, you have, that's an intense song to go through. And when you do it in concert, it's super intense.
There's no way to lightly do that song.
So what if you're just not,
it has
what
happened.
mind state do you have to be in order to put yourself through that rigorous process?
That's a great question. So Sometimes I Cry is one of those songs where I wrote the song and the song was mixed, wasn't mastered yet. And I'm just driving around listening to the song for a week before we actually master it. And as I'm singing along, when it gets to that modulation, I'm in the car and I hit like 3 or 4 full tones above what it was on the record. I called my engineer and I'm like, man, get your ass to the studio. I think I could do a higher note. And so
you wouldn't let it go.
I went to the studio And then he punched me in at that modulation, and I hit that note. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do live, because I don't know if I can do this live every night. So Sometimes I Cry becomes the #1 song, and I'm thinking, God damn, I have to do. I'm trapped. I painted myself in an audio corner, and so the first night I do it, I nailed the note, because when I was in the studio, I didn't nail it at first. I had to, as a singer, you have to find, there's places in your throat where you can sing certain things. And I'm like, it took me a while to be like, okay, if I go to that part, I can hit it. And so I hit it the first night, hit it the second night, hit it the third night. And then I realized if I do that song 4 nights in a row, by the 5th night, that layer of my falsetto is gone. So I just have to be, I think I've successfully fooled people into thinking that I can always hit that note, because live I always do, because I always make sure that if there's a 4th night, I'm not singing nothing for 3 days to get that falsetto to back where it is. So you just gotta work with what you got.
What is your care routine for singing? Because look, having been at the Tonight Show,
you've seen the best and the worst.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
but maybe by the time they get to the Tonight Show, you can't suck.
I've seen.
Maybe they can't suck.
Hey, dog, it's 2026. Anything can happen.
Right.
No. I was saying that I have. All right. So on our wardrobe, I mean, we haven't utilized it in a long time, but there was a point where we actually had winter suits, summer suits, and then a small part of our wardrobe that says Aretha.
What?
So Aretha has this thing where it's like, if I enter the building, no
hot.
air conditioning.
Hot. That's right.
And she has enforcers to make sure, like those dudes in the Steve Harvey suits that, with the 12 buttons.
The Steve Harvey suits, right?
No, she sends, like, those guys they get there. She's been on the show 3 times. They will get there at 2 a.m. and literally sit there in our catacombs, in our basement, to make sure that not one person, and 30 Rock is an old building in which it's no individual air. Like, can be like, let's turn all the air off in the hallway and in the studio. The whole floor is affected. And so it's the Sahara. When Aretha Franklin comes in, there's a memo that comes out and says, hey, Aretha's going to be guest, so
everybody got
dress
to be
accordingly.
In mesh tank tops.
Dude, people thought Jimmy was like on coke, like literally the sweat on his face, and but part of me was super cynical back then. And I was like, is that psychosomatic? Like, is it true that, like,
I wonder if it is.
But I'm asking a singer, like, are you the vocal rest person while on the road?
Yes.
Is it every 3 shows I need a day off?
Yes.
What if the day off falls on a Saturday and the gig is lucrative?
Yeah.
Like,
so there have been, so to answer your question, there is a direct correlation with overextending your voice and just tearing away at certain layers of your tone until you just got to heal. Maybe somebody who's more disciplined in all the things you need to do to be able to do 5 shows a day for a week straight. I can't do it. And it's not psychosomatic. It's definitely, you can hear it if I talk, you can hear it. But for me, a big part of it is no sugar. I cut alcohol out. I drink water. I try to eat foods that my whole perception of food is to nurture me. And if it's got additives,
eat to live.
If it's got chemicals, if it's got that, then I can't put it in my body.
No sugar during touring season, or like if off season, are you allowed to have fun on Thanksgiving?
If I hang out with some relatives, and I got that peach cobbler right there, I'm eating that damn peach cobbler.
All right.
Right? But then as a result of that, probably for the next 4 days, I definitely won't eat any dessert, and there's no candy. Yeah, I will do things that you're not supposed to do. Even though I say I don't drink anymore, like once a month I might have a glass of wine.
Gotcha.
But alcohol, nah.
So I always consider Hurricane your acoustic soul album because of the presence of the acoustic guitar?
Yeah. Dean Parks. Woo!
That was Dean Parks?
That was Dean Parks, bro.
Dude, that explains everything. Okay, on what I didn't know, Dean Parks is on, I think, 8 songs on Songs in the Key of Life. And once I heard the broken down stems of it, I was like, wow, I never knew that this song had acoustic guitar on it.
Yeah, because it's layered so brilliantly.
Right. And so instantly I was like, wow, the presence of acoustic guitar on this record is like that replaced the Fender Rhodes to give that album the personality it has. Yeah. But I wanted to know, was the direction of Better and Better just what wound up being Hurricane, or what was the direction of Better and Better that told Warner's like, no, this isn't it? Or
it was such, you talk about, hey, Tom Whalley, I'm about to talk about you, bro. So that was one of the frustrating aspects of just being an artist at a big machine like Warner Brothers, because, I come off the success of A Day in the Life, which did really Spin My Life and Georgie Porgy and all that.
Yeah.
And I go into the studio and I'm working on a lot of the songs. I did some of them in Philly. Larry Gold. Eric, I got your strings. I got your strings for you, pretty baby.
Yeah, Larry Gold.
So one of the things that I remember feeling so good about that Better and Better album, because there were songs on it like I Want to Be Loved, Pretty Baby, Better and Better, Mike City. And so I turned in the record and Warner Brothers was just like, nah, we don't like this record. And I was like, really? Okay.
So I take it there wasn't a day-to-day person that gives notes or whatever. Like,
I'm not going.
You're at the place now where it's like, here's my record.
Yeah, I had a lot of autonomy at that point to just go make your record. So I turn in the record, and there's always that corporate turntable. There's always somebody else moving in and out, and this is when Tom Whalley came in.
Okay, new blood.
Yeah, new blood, and I remember feeling so good about Better and Better and turning it in, and they'd be like, nah, this really isn't a good record. And I'm like, okay, so, and this is at a time where, y'all got to understand, we didn't have laptops where you could just like go and
make an adjustment.
Make an adjustment or write a song and just throw it out there. You needed a marketing, promotion, distribution machine. And so I was like, okay, so does that mean 2 things are going to happen? Can you let me out of my deal so that I can go somewhere else and take this record? So, nope. Okay, so does that mean I get a budget to go record some other songs and add to this record? Maybe I can salvage it and make a complete product that you feel good about releasing? Nope. So what happens?
So, wait, is that why it took so damn
long? Yeah.
Because I was going to say, like, you damn near took, what, 6-7 years?
Yeah. It wasn't 6 or 7 years, but it was quite a bit of time.
It came out in 2005.
Hurricane?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
And Day in Life came, that was 99. You came out the same year.
Right. You're right. That was so I was basically stuck. I had Better and Better. They wouldn't release it. They wouldn't let me out of my deal. And so I had to figure out, how do I get myself out of this mess?
How do you survive?
You don't. But so basically what I did was I don't remember how I came up with this idea. I was probably talking to my cousin George, probably. But I was like, this is the situation. Like, they won't let me out of the deal. They won't release the record. And at the time, I've always been a massive fan of David Foster. Like where he used to do all the stuff he did with Chicago back in the day, and
Earth, Wind and Fire,
and Earth, Wind and Fire, and Shaka Khan and all that stuff. And David Foster was kind of like a resident producer at Warner Brothers, for lack of a better term. And I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bum rush David Foster and be like, this is what's going to happen. No, I'm not that cocky. I was like, Mr. Foster, you know, your Excellence. I remember it really well. I knew he was going to be at this function, this event, and I'm like, oh, David Foster's going to be there. I'm showing up. So I ran into him. I was like, David, Mr. Foster, I'm Eric Benét. Oh, bro, I know who you are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, Tom's not going to let me out of my deal, and they won't let me do another record, but maybe, and this was, like you said, this was after years of me just being stuck, not knowing what to do. And I said, maybe I can come by your place, and maybe we can fuck around with some stuff. And David, God bless him, David, you know David?
I know him, yes.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, bro, shit, come by the house. He calls it the house, Canadian ass. So his house was a big Tony Montana monstrosity on the beach in Malibu. Mm-hmm. And I just remember pulling up to this thing like, God damn.
Yeah.
But he still just, David, yeah, come on, man, come to the studio. Humberto Gatica was there. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Engineering. And that's where we did, and the first song we wrote together was Hurricane. Yeah. And then we did The Last Time. And then, hey, I got some cats that are going to come over and be like the cats for the album. Dean Parks, Vinnie Colaiuta.
That explains.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm like, what?
Because I was going to say the musicianship on that record, and I couldn't call it. I was like, there's something so different about this without. I see that.
So David saved my whole, like, I don't know what, I don't know what I would have done, because Warner Brothers, it had been years. They wouldn't let me out of my deal. They wouldn't let me fix the album that they did not like. Oh, and so what I ended up doing is like 3 or 4 of those songs, like Pretty Baby, that were on Better and Better. Was it Love of My Own? Maybe, I don't know. Some of those songs that were on Better and Better, I would just sprinkle them on later albums. 1 or 2 of them was on Hurricane. Another was on the one that came. So I made sure some of those Better and Better songs got out.
Okay, so as a singer, and I'm gonna wrap up, but as a singer, I would like to think that your entire outfit has to be vulnerability, the ability to show emotions. Mm-hmm. However, you know, I believe around 96, 97, kind of hip-hop shadow takes over the entirety of Black culture.
Absolutely.
And the armor of emotion sort of sets in, which really doesn't allow for
it made what humanist, I do less cool.
Right. Like, oh, softness or that sort of R&B, whatever. How hard is it to navigate such a sensitive, beautiful art form inside of this sort of Roman Colosseum of toxicity?
Yeah.
Where you stand out like a sore thumb for something that, if this were the 70s, you'd be one of a million people doing it.
Yeah.
So, like, how hard is it now to navigate where just singing is? I'm not even saying R&B.
Yeah.
Just singing in 2026.
Man, that is an insightful, dope question. I think...
And let me add to it.
Yeah.
Especially where you are in your mind state right now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, you were touching shit with the Gerald Levert and the song you did with Gerald Levert. Yeah. Like, you always had your little message joins sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
But
we got a John in this one.
Yes, of course. I'm always from Philly. But, like, how do you navigate your art in 2026?
Yeah.
In which you now have to represent every singer. You have to be the message person. Wow. You have to be the emotive person.
Wow.
You damn near have to represent your whole lineage. Damn, I'm looking like I'm depressing you now.
No,
I don't think you thought about this.
I didn't. No, I'm really trying to take in this question, because as you're asking the question, I don't think of it that way because if I did, I would fuck my shit up.
Well, I see that's my living in my brain so long and less in my heart. I always analyze first. Like therapy's like helped me to let it go of
That's beautiful.
Analyzing shit. Well, it's hard.
First of all, God bless you for doing therapy because a lot of people just don't take the emotional health seriously. So that's what's up.
It's either that or I'll wind up in the obituaries I put on Instagram.
No,
so I don't want to be that person.
I hear you.
But like as the Roots, when I'm going on stage, I'm like, yo, like we got to be Confunction and the Wu-Tang Clan.
You feel that.
And Prince of the Revolution. That's why people always ask, like,
you feel that pressure before you go on stage?
What black bands are left like that?
That's true. That's true.
I feel like in those 2 hours,
feel like
I have to be the breakbeat band, I have to be the disco band, I have to be the hip hop band. We have to do everything in 2 hours. Like I feel like I'm.
Yeah. Do not ever stop going to therapy.
Oh, never. I got 2 therapists. So
yeah, I get because the way you phrase that question is like, if I thought about what I do like you just described, I don't think I would have so much anxiety I wouldn't get on the stage. I would go.
I feel like I planted that seed in you now. Now that's all you're going to think about.
No, you didn't, because what cured that seed was the very first Benét album to True to Myself, because the Benét album was me feeling like I need to be part of this collective decision on this art. The True to Myself album cured what you were just asking me, because True to Myself was fuck what people want from me as an artist.
Expectations.
Even fuck what's happening on the radio. Fuck what the what the record label feels like they want. I'm just going. There's like Quincy talked about it all the time. There's a goosebump factor in the studio. That's what I'm going for. Whether I'm writing it or vocally I'm singing it, my goosebump barometer is going to let me know it's done or it feels good. Put it out there, see what happens. So it's like, and I feel like my major influences are the greats that we've been talking about through this whole conversation. So I feel like creatively somewhere in my subconscious, I'm always stacking my shit against that, which I feel like I will never reach. And we talked about never reaching the unreachable, but always striving for it. So I feel like I got the Quincy Jones, I got the Steely Dan, I got the Donny Hathaway, I got the Stevie Wonder, I got Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And I know how they make me feel on a visceral, emotional vibration. I'm never going to reach that. But I know that if I'm in the studio and I'm at least, oh man, feeling a little bit of that giddiness that they give me, I'm like, hey, I did my best, and if they don't dig it, shit, fuck them.
True to yourself.
Yeah.
My last question to you.
Yeah.
What 3 things, if you could freeze time for a day, press the pause button.
Woo! I love these Amir questions.
I didn't even ask the question yet.
I know, but I love the way they start.
Okay. If you could astral travel back to your 16-year-old self.
That nerdy motherfucker. Yeah.
What would you say? What 3 things would you say to your 16-year-old self back in 84?
Yeah.
Okay.
One day you will have sex.
Okay.
It's coming.
Oh, let me tell you. Okay.
But yeah, 84, I was very much what is the word for the person who's the introvert but shields it with comedy and goofiness? But
a human deflector?
Yeah, but prefers to be alone.
Oh, that's a human being.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was that I was that human being.
Okay.
I would probably tell myself, I was recently asked a question like this. I would probably tell my 16-year-old self, who had this incredible imagination and wanted to see the world and wanted to do all these things and At 16, I didn't even know that I wanted to be a singer, even though I was very much a singer and a songwriter at the time. I would probably tell myself, you might want to rethink going to college. But see, this is a tricky part of that kind of question.
That experience brought you here.
Would you go back in time and save baby Hitler?
No. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, shit, then...
What lessons would you learn?
Yeah.
It's hard to...
I would probably try to be as coded and muted in specifics and just say, your dreams will come true and you will affect the dreams coming true of so many people, but keep working on the stuff you're good at.
Okay.
I would probably try not to and kiss, now that my parents are gone, I told them every day anyway, but probably not so much my dad because he was so emotionally, work a little harder on trying to pull a connection out of your dad because he's so stoic and, because you're going to really wish you had that one day and just.
Well, hopefully now you're doing for your kids what you wish that you had for you.
I am every day I'm trying to be better. Yes.
That's all we can ask for.
That's right.
Brother, I've always loved your voice, but especially now in 2026, I really appreciate and love your voice.
Boom.
And we need more of that.
Boom.
Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was fun. Eric Benét on the Questlove Show. And we'll see you next go around, y'all. Thank you.
Woo!
The Questlove Show is hosted by me, Amir Questlove Thompson. The executive producers are Sean G., Brian Calhoun, and me. Produced by Brittany Benjamin and Jake Payne. Produced for iHeart by Noel Brown. Edited by Alex Conroy. iHeart video support by Mark Canton. Logos, graphics, and animation by Nick Aloe. Additional support by Lance Coleman. Special thanks to Kathy Braun. Special thanks to Sugar Steve Mandel. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share the Questlove Show wherever you stream your podcast. Make sure you follow us on socials. That's @QLS. Check out hundreds and hundreds of QLS episodes, including the Questlove Supreme shows and our podcast archives. Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio.